So we've been focusing a bit on light diffraction, that is light waves spreading around barriers and that sort of thing. What about sound? Does sound do it? Actually, probably more disruptive to your life is sound diffraction than light diffraction. First off, you can hear through the door just fine because sound is making its way around the corners. In fact, you can notice the light. Is some of the light making it around the corner? Sure it is. But the light tends to fall off. In fact, you can shut your door and you can close out light pretty effectively in your house. But sound, not so easy. The sound makes it around corners, through little cracks, through that little space in the door and in the frame. You're not getting away from sound very easily. And in fact, sounds actually do it better than others. So sound does diffract more effectively than light. That's why you can easily go in your room and shut the door and get away from the light, but you can't really get away from the sound in your house. But even within sounds, certain sounds diffract better than others. You probably know already, if somebody's got one of those booming systems, you can hear them from down the block. Which sounds or which notes do you hear first? Do you hear the or you hear the? Well, actually, I've found it's pretty cool. On YouTube, they have something called the other room audio effect, which is exactly this. That's when you leave the room at the club or wherever, if you're outside the club, you can still hear some of the music, but not all of it. So what do they do actually to make this other room audio effect?
What's up YouTube, it's Adam from I'm a Music Mogul. In today's quick tip video, I'm going to show you how to get that effect where you hear audio coming from thankfully in Logic there is a preset that I like to kind of work off of, and that is the Megaphone EQ. The only thing I will do is kind of push back the lows a little bit because low end frequencies usually travel from room to room.
Alright, so what he's saying there is right. Low end frequencies, those are your low notes. And that's why you lose that, but you hear the So your low notes actually seem to diffract more effectively than your high notes. And your low frequency actually goes with big wavelength. Some of you have spent a little more time studying this than others. But again, there's that connection with wavelength. So if we let this play a little.
Next thing I like to do is add in a distortion plugin.
And you'll hear even more. Notice that. He's really cut out the trebles, cut out the high notes, it's the low notes. Because when you're in the other room, that is what gets through. So pretty cool that sound also showing evidence of wave nature, being that as it travels, as it transmits, it can diffract around obstacles. Which of course is, again, when you play hide and seek. It's actually much easier to hide from light than it is from sound. You can get into a little spot, but the sound will still make it in there. So sound diffraction is actually much more effective. So what we're seeing here is actually we're getting a spectrum of levels of diffraction. It's not just that a wave is as a wave does, so all waves diffract. True, they do. However, some waves diffract much more effectively than others.